Right, this is going to be a bit of a strange one to do because I don't know, I'm a bit awkward about topics like this. Not really, I'm just kind of tired and don't know what to talk about. I'm gonna do a video on sex dolls and yeah, just how I feel about them at this moment in time. So I'll start by saying there's been a bit of hype recently by a few different groups regarding these dolls, yeah? Now, quite a lot of feminists have said they degrade women, blah blah blah. It's just like the subservient versions of women for men to express dominant tendencies on in place of real women, and that it's bad for people to have sex dolls and treat them like humans because they'll do the same thing to people. I don't agree with this. I kind of think that most people buying this kind of thing kind of know they're buying it for that and will always recognise that it is that, except a few crazy, deluded, psychotic, nasty people who would just do awful things to people without the sex doll anyway. I don't think it's going to change people that dramatically. Now, what I do think is it could split sexes in a few ways, because I think initially men would think, oh, this is great, and it will initially be aimed at men, and they'll love it, they'll have a sex doll, initially it won't be able to do anything, eventually it'll be able to talk, eventually it'll be able to think, and it'll be just the perfect woman, what you imagine as the perfect woman. I kind of feel the kind of people buying these would be people who don't have women anyway, or if they do have a girlfriend, they're not going to leave their girlfriend for their sex doll. So I don't feel like this really affects women in any way in that sense. Same with the kind of women buying these things. Actually, I think the kind of women buying these things might be curious women as well, who just would like to know what it's like. And I think initially there'll be some backlash about, it's wrong to simulate a human, it's wrong to do this, and we'll probably all realise that's bullshit. But then where it'll start dividing the sexes properly, because this whole thing of, oh, we don't think it's right, but you do, this won't divide the sexes, won't divide the sexes with these, is that they'll become better than real people. And some people end up buying them, and maybe actually in the future, now, no, but in the future maybe, yeah, maybe they'll choose them over real people, and people will no longer see the need for people. Where this could come as a bad thing is maybe your wife or your boyfriend will buy one, and you feel like they no longer need you in this way or in a lot of ways, and yeah, this could damage a lot of relationships. I mean, a lot of us would be very jealous if our partners were to sleep with someone else. Imagine if they were sleeping with someone else every day and they were 15 times better than you could ever be. You could never compare. So I think it would kill a lot of relationship satisfaction. Primarily. So I think primarily there would be disgust and outrage, but we progress through that, people will get over that. Then there would be a lot of jealousy and a lot of emotional turmoil between the sexes. And then I think afterwards the sexes would understand what both sides want more and need more, and there'd be less jealousy in the world, and yeah, just people would be more free, more sexually liberated. We wouldn't need other people for this. We'd all start understanding more what human sexual psychology is about, because the robots would learn that and would tell us, and we'd have a greater understanding of people in general. I think right now the hype against them is ridiculous. They barely even resemble proper women or men, and they're not really functional. I can see a lot of problems that could happen with them, a lot of bad things that could happen with them. For example, if they become interactive, what's to say they won't just rape you? There might be people who have rape fetishes and would be into that. But, everyone doesn't want that all the time, and the computer can't necessarily distinguish between the fetish and reality, and you just might end up making actual rape robots. Like, there's a lot of feminists getting stigma saying, oh, these are rape machines. At the moment, no, they aren't, but they actually could be if they malfunctioned. Think about it, they are designed for sexual pleasure, to fulfill fantasies. What's to say they don't break down? And also the ones with electronics in them could break down and burn down the house, for example. It could potentially electrocute you to death. It could potentially destroy the rest of the electronics in your house. like from like an AMP apples or something like that. So there are actual dangers that come with them as far as society goes. I think sex dolls will become the future until we program them into computers, until we can simulate people in computers. Sex dolls will be the future, and we will slowly see people having less and less interaction with each other, more and more with sex dolls. We see it with VR porn right now, and this is the start of it. It's far more severe in Japan, for example. I think it is a positive thing. Um, in the end, I think initially there'll be a lot of suffering, a lot of jealousy, a lot of human rights movements that are against it and oppose it, and I think initially it will be a bad thing. But I think after it reveals what people enjoy sexually and in general, and starts fulfilling people's needs on a global scale, people won't worry so much that we aren't producing new people. We'll probably have good cloning techniques or good insemination techniques, and we'll just make children instead of having children together. We'll be able to form bonds that were never possible from human to human, from robot to human, and it sounds crazy and it sounds unimaginable. A lot of people probably think that's unnatural, that's terrible, but they haven't experienced that to say that. It's like, imagine every single lonely person now found the perfect partner for the rest of their lives. That's something you certainly can't give to a lot of people. It's a very positive thing. It's just, for some people it's an awful concept that would be a robot. For example, old lonely people, they could have a robot companion that was conscious or was able to really make them feel loved and really make them feel special. Who are we, or who are you, to take that away from them? Is how I would approach this kind of thing. The only worry I have is, like I said, with the malfunctioning, turn into rape robots, or they could, potentially do a lot of damage to your genitals if they electrocute your genitals or set on fire whilst you're having sex, because they're not people, they can do that kind of thing. If they predict an angle wrong, it could snap off your dick, or they could rip your limbs off. There's a lot of things they could do, assuming they're a lot stronger than us, or assuming they malfunction. So there's problems like this as well. If they're all connected to each other and they have a psychological malfunction, that could be a much bigger problem. There's the potential for people installing viruses on them to make them intentionally harmful to other people. So yeah, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. But personally, I think they're a step in the right direction. I think they're a good way to alleviate suffering in the world for people who are lonely and don't have the social skills to get a partner, or afraid to get a partner. For these kind of people, they're the best thing. It's just that stigma of, oh, it's not real. I mean, it is real, it's just a subjective experience. It doesn't experience anything. But you never had any guarantee another person was, so I don't see what the big stigma is, personally. But yeah, as I say, there'd have to be a lot of development done. We'd have to decide on what kind of rules they can go by, what kind of rights they have, and if there's like a usage limit or something like that as well. But yeah, in general, I think they're a positive idea, and I hope to see them in fruition. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you another time.